All right, I think we're live. All right, welcome back to another episode of the Relationship Series. My name is Gina Spataro. This is my brother, Sam Spataro. We apologize for last week's episode not viewing. We were just having some technical difficulty. Please don't forget to let us know in the comments below if you're experiencing something on your end or noticing something that maybe we don't see. Because we would love to correct those issues as well. How has your week been, Sam?
My week has been pretty amazing thus far. Yeah, I would just say in many areas, obviously business is really good right now. My partners seem to have a good jive of things and finding a really good way to be very productive. And just really been dedicated and disciplined with my workout regimen. So I'm still working out 5-6 days a week. Yesterday I worked and then we got rained out. So I went and met with a client and we ended up, waiting in Wasaga Beach for the rain to kind of venture off. And I was around 7:30 and then we stayed there till about 9:30 playing on the beach, swimming. Came home and it was around 10:15, putting the kids down, and I hadn't worked out yet. And I was like, I'm so tired, I'm exhausted. And Joe Rogan was just in the back and again, don't be a bitch, hit the weights, discipline is your key to your success. And I just hit the weights and I just find, I don't know, overall, I'm a lot more disciplined, a lot more focused, eating healthier, better communication, relationship with the kids. Just overall, like things are a lot better. Yeah.
Would you say my week has been good? Same. Very disciplined in those areas as well. Learning about nutrition a lot more and kind of diving into that part of things. It's always been a focus of mine, but just learning a little bit of what I can tweak and improve on, etc. But other than that, yeah, like focus workouts. It's great having a group of girls that I lead every morning. It keeps me motivated. It keeps them motivated, accountable. So the online thing has been working beautifully, actually. Like I have about 20 girls.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And they join me and we work out and they go on their merry way for the rest of the day. But it's great. It's great.
How long have you been doing that now? Is it since COVID?
Yeah, since March.
Wow.
Since March, yeah. And I've only had one person drop off since. Few have joined, and it's been great. Yeah, they love it. They show up every day. Every single day. But other than that, that's it. Truthfully, just staying motivated and starting new things and trying to reinvent yourself constantly. But also taking moments of peace in between because it's very much needed for sure. But other than that, I think we're just going to open up tonight's broadcast to being an open mic. I think it's pretty cool just to kind of go off on tangents sometimes and see where the wind takes us in our conversations along the way. And I've noticed, especially with relationships, ever since, COVID has happened, there's always been like this prediction, we're going to be in close proximity, what's going to happen with their relationship, et cetera, et cetera. It's funny because we're talking to a psychotherapist and she was noticing actually the increase, how we were talking about the increase of divorce amongst families after all this. And she's starting to notice that trend starting to happen already. So just imagine, people are now getting used to being around people 24/7, but now that parameters are opening up, people can kind of resume a little bit of a different life, not as open as it once was, but your prediction was correct, Sam. Relationships, some of them are turning for the worse than for the better in all of this.
Well, I always have a belief, crisis shows you where you're weak, right? And whether it's COVID or a health issue or a money problem, a job, a business, anytime we experience hardships in life or a crisis, it really shows us where our flaws are. It really shows us, it's like, like tonight we were reviewing the kids' report cards, A, B, C, whatever it might be. And all it really is just, it's a telltale of like, okay, here's where you're good. Here's where you need to improve. Right. But I think the majority of human beings really have an issue with self-reflection. So it's, whether that's patterned in or, a personality trait or whatever it might be, is it really just, whether it's, in a sport or, maybe we just, when it comes to relationships, is it really just shows you where you are as far as, where your beliefs and the things that you value when it comes to the dynamics that you're in within your relationship and within your partner and the things that are going on. And I think COVID has shown a lot of that. And, whether it's COVID or something, it really doesn't matter. It's like, it's just anytime there's a crisis, and it could be a disagreement, it could be COVID, it could be a health change. It could be all of a sudden, there's not as much cash in the bank, or, maybe you guys can't do the things that you used to, whatever it might be that's come up, your communication style is really a reflection of your ability to communicate effectively. And I would say at best, the majority of us are at average or less, and when you're in a situation like this, where it's pure crisis and it's negative after negative news, constant, and now all of a sudden you're home with a person that you barely seen for 2-3 hours a night, well, yeah, it's going to start to show some cracks, some flaws, and then all the stresses of the job, the family, kids being at home. I mean, it's all going to come to a head, but there's always an opportunity in every crisis to find ways to improve and make things better. It's just 100%. Where do we go? What road do we take?
Yeah. And I think you hit it right on, the nail on the head, where it is about your communication. And it's not taking things personally sometimes, because, people are going to act a little bit differently when, their routines are taken away from them, when their day-to-day lives are taken away from them, and certain behaviors are going to show up that you're not familiar with. And it doesn't mean that they're negative anyway. It's some people's coping mechanisms for change, because like you said, communication is huge, right? And not everybody understands or has the tools to communicate effectively their wants, needs, and desires, right? I mean, if you have one person in your relationship that understands the dynamics between men and women communicating with one another, then of course, like, a lot of things will run a little bit smoothly. Things will be taken as personally. You'll always do your best, et cetera, et cetera. But when two people enter that relationship that maybe don't have the tools to identify, the shift within that relationship, and they view it all as negative, then that's when I think a lot of this arises. The inability to see why the change is occurring, the shift, not taking it personally, how to help someone through it, and identify what their wants and needs are, and it's like that. So I think you're right. I think communication is huge. Some people say, well, men don't communicate and women, just go on tangents all the time. But it's relearning strategies to help you through moments like this, because even if you're the only one that knows how, and you can't expect everyone to have the want. I mean, it would be beautiful if both partners or both, husband or wife or girlfriend had the tools, but more often than not, both don't. Would you say, Sam?
No, absolutely. And I think really what it comes down to in times like we're in right now is you need to lick your own wounds, not make other people suffer for your own wounds and hurts and, things that are challenges. And so one thing I just want to share is some things that I'm doing that, I really wasn't doing as disciplined or as frequently as was, and the benefits of doing the things that I've done. So I've always struggled with being consistent with like physical activity. So gym, like, self-care, those sorts of things. And so I have a coach that I have an appointment with every 2 weeks, and we set some goals and we review. And I touched on this the last video or the one prior to that, and he just said, like, what's one thing you really struggle with? And I'm like, God, like, it's my body. Like, sometimes I commit, sometimes I don't. And so we set up like a 30-day challenge. So it was like June 30th, launching date. Here's what's going to happen. And so I decided to finally commit solely to it, because I know if I can be disciplined to do things with my body when I don't feel like it, it's going to make me disciplined to do things that are in other areas of my life that are going to benefit me. It's through discipline that you get the right things done in your life, right? It's the lack of discipline that makes us push off of things that really are going to bring value, help us to grow, and have a good impact on our relationships. And so since then, I've been really committed to working out 5-6 days a week, even if I'm tired, even if I don't feel like it, even if I'm down and out, and even if, I'm not in a great state. And what I've found is when it comes to my relationship, I mean, I'm far from perfect, and I don't think any relationship ever will be perfect, is when we've had struggles, it's allowed me to not push off and deflect as long as I used to. It's actually allowed me to tackle the problem at hand a lot quicker, rather than ruminate, not communicate, get in anger and resentment, and all those negative things that really just kill your spirit. So I found it's really helped me to be disciplined with being more, reactive in a really good time frame where it's very respectful, number one, to your partner, but also to your well-being, your mental health. And it's just been really good. And I find, like Joe Rogan says, it's through discipline that you get things done. Discipline is, when it comes to relationships and being good at communicating, right? Really good at quickly at resolving, really good at paying attention to your partner's, needs and feelings and emotions, and not getting stuck in your own head and that cycle of negativity and anxiety. And I thought that was it's a really good key thing to share, because we know as we progress in relationships, our self-care declines. You're complacent, you start, eating less healthy, you stop wanting to be as active, you stop wanting to go places, you start to take them for granted. And then we just wonder why, the majority of relationships or marriages today end up in failure, and the second and third marriages are even worse, because we never fix the problems that cause them in the first place. So if there's one key thing that I want to add tonight, if you're starting a relationship or you're in one and it's stagnant, whatever it might be, is a better you is a better relationship. And so I truly recommend that you invest some time in yourself, get a coach, make a commitment to hitting up a gym. Like, you can, if you're a female watching this, my sister has classes that she does weekly that other women are a part of, which would be great. And, you can join bike clubs, do something that's going to make you feel better, because when you feel better internally, you automatically already produce better beliefs, better things to value. You take better actions in your life, and the outcomes in your relationship will be so much more beneficial to you, your spouse, and your children.
Yeah. I have to say though, because so for me, on the flip side, fitness has always been a very important part of my, well-being for years, ever since my early 20s. And I knew right away that finding someone to complement my life also had to have that kind of mindset as well. So I think for us, because we're both very active, I think that's the discipline too. It's like, okay, when I met this person, I was this. This was who I was. And I don't want to lose that just because I'm getting comfortable. And I think, like you said, so many people get comfortable and they stop focusing on themselves, and they allocate that energy elsewhere, maybe in moments that are unproductive, or et cetera, et cetera. But you're absolutely right with the discipline portion of it all. It has to be ingrained in you. It has to become a momentum, almost a feeling that you strive for to be better. And noticing that it is your weakness and striving for greatness. I think that's an awesome thing because, there's so many, people always say, the more you feel better, the more, you attract great things in your life. And it's not just physically, but it's like mind, body, and soul. When it's all intertwined, you feel the harmony, right? And people think like, oh, people just talk out of their, what's all the time because they think that this is what people want you to hear. No, but it's actually true life. Like, how do you feel comparative to not being active or mobile or having functional movements within your day-to-day versus now incorporating those things and creating a new frame for yourself? What is the difference that you feel? Because people think that, it's fun. It's funny. I remember someone saying, oh, every morning I see those people jog and I just laugh at them in the morning, how they get up so early and are so motivated. And it's like, I just sit here sipping my coffee, watching them, laughing at them. And it's like, okay, so there's two ends of the spectrum, right? The mindset. How do you feel, Sam? Getting off of the train sometimes and going back on it. Like, what's the difference for you?
Well, I would say that it's a huge difference in many areas of my life. It affects my finances in a way where how productive I'm going to be at work. It affects my mood in the morning when I wake up, the types of things I'm going to eat, the types of things that I'm going to think about my day and what's coming. The third thing, it also affects how I perceive the night and how it's going to go with my wife, my kids, the things that we're going to do. And then when I go to sleep, it's kind of like the seesaw. I'm either going to reflect back and regret things I wish I would have done if I was lazy, ate junk food, didn't do things that were productive, ended up getting stuck on my phone versus eating a healthy dinner, going for a swim, a bike ride, engaging with my children, spending some good quality time with my wife, having fun, watching a show, doing those types of things. And I really find that, it has such a profound impact. I'm 43 years old. I've been with my wife for 19 years. And if we can log on a chart, the trajectory of a relationship, and you look at the obstacles, the challenges, and the good times, and whatever they might be, and they'll always be correlated to a few key things. And one major one will be your state that you're in.
Of course.
The second thing, the state you're in, so psychologically. And the second thing is your body, which is a reflection of what you're putting in is how you feel. And so if we could really just say, to have a really amazing relationship, you have to have a really good psychology. So, what does that look like? You're always self-improving, right? You're doing relationship courses, you're working on yourself, you have a coach. What does that have to do with your body? You're hitting the gym, you're being conscious of the things that you're eating. Or you're doing things as a couple together when it comes to physical activities, things that you're interested in. And maybe you're not interested in, but you might just look at the benefits of doing those things, even if you're not, right? And I can't tell you the countless people I see who have a lot of these struggles where one very active, the one really doesn't care to do much. And you can really tie in the problems associated to, one, the amount of self-care that they have, two, how much investment they put into their psychology, and three, the actions that they take depending on both of those variables, right? And I would say those are pretty much really key factors for me. And I would say that the time where I feel like I have the best relationship with my kids, when I go to sleep and I don't feel like I reflect back and I wish I didn't do A, B, C, D, and E, is, I really took charge of my day from the time I woke up. I'm waking up early, I'm doing 10 laps, I'm making a shake, not coffee and, some toast with butter. And then before I step out into my vehicle, I do my affirmations. I say, here's what I want for the day. This is what my days look like when I come home. And you set the pretext for what's going to happen. Where the majority of us, we wake up and we just kind of flow with whatever is going on, you know, from yesterday and the day before and anything else that our mind is creating. And I think it's really essential to realize that, you know, you're a 2.0 version of yourself at any moment. You know, and especially with everything that's happened and all the chaos that was going on in the world with COVID, the riots, the economy, and now COVID again. You know, and I just heard in China they're shutting down the schools again, and now they're yes, and now they're stopping.
I didn't hear that.
Yes, and yesterday, apparently this is a joke, a whole nother thing for it anyway, but apparently now terrifying news, COVID cases rise, and there's 100 cases, 100 in a billion people country. And they're saying it came from Europe with salmon that they imported. So now they're banning that stuff. And now, you know, you look at Texas, you look at Florida's having the biggest cases. Now there's even cases in our area now. You know, so it's like now they're talking about shutting down some of the things. It's like, you know, there's just like so much uncertainty. And there's economic stuff that's coming up that, you know, I don't want to share because I mean, we're already dealing with enough, and I'm trying to be more optimistic about, you know, I see this coming, but, you know, how will it affect me in a good way? How can I be an impact to other people's lives? But it's just, it moreover really just comes down to, is that, you know, who are you going to be? You know, who are you going to be for your family? What type of role model are you going to be for your kids? And I can tell you that there was times with everything that happened that I got lost. I was stuck in anxiety. I was fearful. I was worried, because there's nothing worse than knowing what's coming and not being able to protect the people that you love. Right. So, you know, that had a profound impact on me. And then one day I just realized, you know, I was eating crappy, staying up late, just being too consumed by it. And I just said, you know what, enough was enough. And I just seemed it was affecting my energy. It was affecting me want to do things with my wife and my kids. And that's when I decided to start making that commitment again with my body. And it's just been like ever so changing. But I want to make a very clear point here is that, you know, there's going to be some trying times coming up. And the one thing you need to protect is your mind. Because if you can protect your mind and control your mind, what happens to you and around you won't be important, rather the fact of what it means.
Right.
And if you have children, if you have a spouse, you got to rely on one another to really get down to what matters in life. And the fact is that no matter what happens or what's taken away from us, here's the moral compass of our relationship, of what we believe in, of what our values are. And this will guide us through this, you know, and as we come out of this, because it's always darkest before dawn, you know, it doesn't stay dark forever, that you're building the foundation of something so beautiful that will carry you through the rest of your lives and also have a profound impact on the people around you.
Yeah. And, you know, it's so true, because your mind is everything, you know, and it controls your limiting beliefs. It controls your fears. It controls, you know, if you put one foot in front of the other, or if you revert back to old patterns, right? So I think you're right. In moments of constant uncertainty right now, you have to be in control of this, because if you let it control, you know, the influence of the media, the influence of everybody talking to you about, oh, did you hear about this? Or da, 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 da. And that's why I always say, like, question the sources. Question who you're hearing things from. Do your own due diligence to make assumptions for the benefit of you and your families, right? Because like you said, so I had no clue that China was shutting down again. One, because I don't have cable and I don't watch TV. And, you know, some people are like, well, how do you not know what's going on in the news and whatever? I hear it from people. If it's important enough, people will tell me, or I'll read it on some type of platform some way or another. But I choose not to consume myself with all of that toxic influence on day in and day out right? So whatever I need to know, I know I will find out some way. But like you said, you do your due diligence with you and your own mindset, how you're going to be better in certain situations, et cetera, and you will be so much more prepared. So much more prepared. And you, like Sam, he's very diligent about taking precautions with his family. He does his own thing, and he's very certain about things, right? So, like, kudos to him for all of that. But there's so many people just will toe the line and just believe and be influenced without questioning. And do you think people need to start questioning moments of like this, Sam?
Well, I want to touch base on this because you're talking about the children thing. And I just want to touch on this before I forget. Because it's very prominent today where a lot of children are living in, situations where parents are split up, or, there may be the other partner is, not existent. And I think we all need to be very clear as a culture, as a society, and as human beings that one parent can't do it all. You can't be the mom and the dad. You can't be the dad and the mom. You will never be able to provide them everything they need just on your own. And so why am I saying this? I was speaking with a lady who has two sons who father abandoned them, and the kids have like alcohol problems, anxiety, depressions. And my first thing that I thought of is, did you get them a male coach? Did you get them a male role model that could have a positive influence and impact in life? It might not even be a coach. It could be, maybe an uncle, a brother, somebody that will step in and guide these boys and give them what they need. And if you look at everything that's going on right now with the riots, and there's a lot of discussion about like gang violence and the stuff that's going on in the States. And there's some things that aren't being portrayed on the media. I watched a really good video with Morgan Freeman, Denzel Washington, all of them, and they said, this isn't a racist problem. This isn't, a gang problem. This is a broken family problem. Kids growing up without fathers.
Really?
Yes, because there's a lot of facts out there that a lot of men who end up going down these paths didn't have good father role models. They didn't have a man in their lives to, because women by nature are very consoling, forgiving, compassionate, empathetic, and they usually learn all those hunting, discipline skills, and all those other sort of things from the father, right? So when you're missing that key element, it's going to have a profound impact. And I've worked with tons of people like this, guys, and they have drug problems, alcohol problems, they're in and out of jail, juvie, you name it, because a father is supposed to whip them into shape, make them responsible for their actions, teach them right from wrong, and hold them accountable so they can become men one day. Not try to find significance by going and joining a group of people that are vandalizing and destroying people's businesses and, these statues and, hatred and flashing out all these toxic words and just behaviors that really are not serving to us as a culture and a society. And, there's been a very profound negative impact of the type of culture that we've created, especially in Western societies. The state controls the children now, not the parents. And when the parents do have that time with their kids, and I know myself, I try to do my best, and I bet you we're probably above average for the things that we do. But I see it and I hear it. And the majority of the times what parents are doing is they're not being connected. They're giving them iPads and iPhones and, computer games stuck with technology so they can go and socialize with their friends or do those sorts of things. And at some point they're going to try to find a way to find a group or find some people where, they're going to make them feel like a sense of, like a sense of family, a sense of culture, a sense of belonging to something more than just, being in a home where, you have people that are providing things for you, but they're not teaching you anything, right? Because we now rely on the state, school, and everything else to teach our children. And so here we are today. Look at what's going on in society. This is an experiment gone completely wrong. And these are the negative consequences that we all need to be responsible for. It's not the kids' fault. And it's never the kids' fault. It makes me sick to my stomach when I hear parents complain about their children. They're a reflection of the investment that you put into them.
Yeah.
That's what children are. So wrapping this up and pertaining to, that person that reached out to me with their kids, if you are a mother and you're single, or if you're a father and you're single, find them a coach. Find them someone that will have a positive impact, because you cannot solely provide them everything. They will need that opposite human being, whether it's male or female. They're going to need that connection with somebody. It doesn't even have to be a spouse. That's going to be a good, positive role model in their life, and will have such profound impact on their lives later on.
100%, 100%. And it's funny because little girls will feed off of a feminine energy, and boys will feed off of a masculine energy when it's around them, right, in abundance. And I think this would be a great topic to talk about, another time, where if a little girl grows up in a very masculine home where the mom and dad are masculine, or if a boy grows up in a home where both parents are a little bit more feminine, I think that would be a very interesting topic to kind of touch upon as well.
No, for sure, because it does have a profound impact of the type of leading energy they have, the type of person they're going to become, and what role they'll have in their relationship.
Decision making, everything.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's funny because people are like, oh, what's feminine energy and masculine energy? So people are unaware of, leading energies. And it's not to say, we both don't encompass both. It's just a leading energy, and it shows up for a reason. So I think that'd be a really cool topic
let's do that,
to touch upon. So is there anything else you want to touch on, or are we good to go?
I think I just want to wrap on that. And I think if you are watching this and you are a single mommy, you are a single daddy, do your child a favor. You can't be everything. Give them everything that they will need. And that is someone that will have a positive impact. That is the opposite of who you are.
100%. Yep, absolutely. So on that note, this is the Relationship Series. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We are always talking about matters of the heart and mind, and we will see you all next time. Ciao for now.